Hey Merfolk fans, I'm Joe. Thanks very much for joining me today. If you'd like to support my channel, please check the link above to my Patreon page. I'm here with round 4 of a modern competitive league. Currently sitting at 3-0. I started off beating Red-Green Ponza, then I beat Black-Red Hollow One, and most recently, I just beat Goryo's Vengeance, also Black-Red. Haven't dropped a game yet, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, so feeling pretty good. Let's see the opening hand. Well, this looks pretty nice to me. On the draw, we're going to have plenty of time to hit into other lands. It's a keep. I mean, not too much thought. Even if we hit another Mutavault, we get to play Reejereys. Might be a little bit too slow. The opponent kept 7, I kept 7. Let's go. You know what? I actually realized during the match that this was the same guy that I played in round 2 with Black-Red Hollow One. So no turn 1 action. We're happy to see that. Spell Pierce we're also happy to see. Because if he's... I mean, no turn 1 play means turn 2 Goblin Lore, like... something like that. So let's go Wanderwine Hub, and... I don't even know what I revealed. It doesn't even matter. Lord of Atlantis. Master of the Pearl Trident. I guess that potentially represents that we have the Spell Pierce, but so be it. We've got it, if they've got something to do otherwise. A Flameblade Adept, pretty good. That kind of stinks because we didn't get to use Spell Pierce. Now we're just, oh man. Alright, so when you keep blue and colorless, and you just draw into a bunch of double blue, you know, kind of stinks. We're going to hope that the opponent is land screwed here, play the Mutavault, and go for Spreading Seas on the Blood Crypt. We really need to draw into a blue source. Well, that's not a blue source. There's the Goblin Lore. So, I don't know. Potentially not correct to play the Spreading Seas. Let's see what this guy discarded. And discarded at least one Hollow One, so... hopefully that's all he's got. Cycles a Street Wraith, because any Hollow Ones he draws at this point are free. Gets in for 5. And didn't have any Hollow Ones, so we're sort of staying alive here. It's definitely correct to play AEther Vial, which I just drew. Leaving up Spell Pierce, that's getting Spell Pierced. He could be drawing out the counter spell, which is pretty smart if that's the case. He does have a land drop to make. And he did miss his previous land drop. What's happening here? Oh, well, no, it was good that we countered the Faithless Looting, because it looks like he's going for like a Delve spell here. Yep. We're only taking 1 from the Flameblade Adept, and we're sort of doing okay if we start hitting lands. Ugh, still no land. At this point, the opponent's got a bunch of lands. I think we just have to play Silvergill Adept, right? We can reveal the same guy that I revealed before. Maybe draw Cursecatcher, help us hit our curve. Although blue land is probably best here, right? Oh my god. So my first impression of Black-Red Hollow One was that it was unfavorable. It kind of felt like Affinity. Like the opponent just vomited their hand, except they were all 4/4s, and it was really hard for us to deal with. But we've got a lot of play against them between all of our Harbingers. Got Spell Pierces to turn off their like Goblin Lores and stuff like that. And all of our Lords can quickly outclass their 4/4s. As in this case. These guys, if they were all on the battlefield, they would all be 6/6s right now. But yeah, we're falling behind here. I am, let's see. From the opening hand, I've drawn 6 cards at this point and haven't hit a single land. Statistically, a very, very unlikely. Alright, so he's Collective Brutalitying me, pitching a Flamewake Phoenix, and killing my, draining me and killing my Silvergill Adept. So that's a bit of a blowout. He would have been able to pay for Spell Pierce anyway, but then he wouldn't have been able to bring back Flamewake Phoenix. So things are going south. Burning Inquiry. So I kind of rushed through that there on the replay, but that had the potential to help our hand out a ton. We were like totally backed up. Looks like I lost a Spell Pierce and maybe 2 2 Reejereys or something. I don't even know. But I didn't draw a single land. So now, from my opening hand, from the top of the deck, I've gone through 9 cards without seeing a single land. Opponent's going to hit for 12 this turn. It's over. I mean, you guys might have done the math already. He's got the Flamewake Phoenix. We're getting hit for 12 exactly. And we couldn't have done anything next turn anyway. Maybe we draw into a Harbinger, but then we still can't play anything out. Yeah, this was just our deck screwing us. We even just one more land would have been enough to get going. So unfortunately, that was the first game I've lost in the entire league. I've never gone 2-0 5 times in a row, and I was hoping to do it this time. Didn't happen. Look away if you don't want to see the match result. I'm going to click out of this window now. All right, back for game 2. We're going to be on the play. Obviously, big advantage in this matchup. I'll show you guys the sideboard strategy again, but I showed you in game 2, round 2. So basically cutting the 4 Reejereys because they die to Bolt very easily. They die to Grim Lavamancer very easily. Trimming 1 Master of Waves. It's kind of expensive. We might not get to that mana. And trimming 1 Cursecatcher is just not the highest value, even though it does slow down all of their discard spells. Burning Inquiry, Faithless Looting, Goblin Lore. We pitch 1 Kira because we still have 1 in the deck. So that gets rid of 5, 6, 7 cards, and we bring in 3 relics, the main target being Grim Lavamancer. 3 relics, 2 Echoing Truths, amazing against Hollow Ones, and 2 Dismembers, just to kill their creatures. So we drew a very nice hand. Manages, got a lot of, it's got good tempo. We've got lands, we've got AEther Vial, and we get to control their graveyard. In the event that they land a Grim Lavamancer, we're covered. So without a doubt, the first play is AEther Vial. It doesn't really matter which land we play out there. We're almost definitely going to play Silvergill Adept on turn 2. So it didn't really matter if we led with Mutavault, but typically in the early part of the game, you want to get blue sources online. The opponent opened with Mountain into Flameblade Adept. Spell Pierce changes the plan a little bit. I think it's going to be Cavern, Relic, hold up mana for Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce is pretty awesome in this spot because Goblin Lore, Burning Inquiry, those spells can let the opponent sort of vomit his hand. So instead of Cavern of Souls, I played Mutavault, sort of 6 half a dozen, but we're still leaving up Spell Pierce. Let's see what he's got. Going for Faithless Looting, I'm hoping that this was a 1-land keep on the back of a Faithless Looting. Probably not, just because he probably would have gone with Faithless Looting on the first turn. I don't know, it's hard to say, but in either event, he hasn't made a land drop yet, and this is a pretty juicy target for Spell Pierce. Cycle Street Wraith, hope maybe he's trying to dig into lands. Let's go ahead and trim his graveyard a little bit. Does hit a land, or I mean maybe he had that in his hand already. And he's going to get in for 2 with this Flameblade Adept. So not the most explosive start by the opponent. I get to try to get rid of this Faithless Looting. He might crack his Bloodstained Mire in response, but at least that tells us, what he's doing with his lands for the turn. For my turn, I drew a 4th land. Not what I was hoping for, but not terrible because we do have 3 Master of Waves in the deck at this point. So he cracked his Bloodstained Mire in response to Relic and got an untapped Mountain, essentially representing Lightning Bolt. So I played Wanderwine. I think I just revealed Silvergill because that's what's coming, and then I'm going to reveal the Lord. If he's holding up Lightning Bolt with that untapped Mountain, potentially he won't use it this turn because he wants to save it for the Lord. Silvergill's pretty awesome. Card advantage is a great way to get ahead in this matchup. And we still have 1 up to crack Relic if we need to. Now, I chose to not exile Relic. If the opponent gets value off this Faithless Looting, it's not the end of the world. Again, remember that the primary objective for Relic is to prevent us getting destroyed by Grim Lavamancer. So the opponent is sort of priced into getting value out of his Faithless Looting, but he chose instead to go with Flamewake Phoenix. This is really interesting, because now I definitely get to get rid of his Faithless Looting. I'm going to bring in Silvergill Adept just to see what I draw. Maybe I draw a Dismember. I don't think I would use it on Flamewake Phoenix anyway. Master Waves is pretty awesome. So next turn, I'm just going to vomit my hand. Take the damage. I have to anyway. Just going to happily get rid of that Faithless Looting. Awesome value from the Relic. And, okay, so we have a choice. We could play Silvergill with the Vial or the Lord, but I just want to max out on tokens. If the opponent has the Collective Brutality to use on Master of Waves, we're still left with a Lord and 2 Silvergills with a follow-up Silvergill next turn and a Mutavault on the board. Active Relic. Big Game Hunter's not a concern because we don't have 2 Lords. All of our creatures max out at 3 toughness. And the opponent just scooped at that point. I could tell, like, playing out the Flamewake Phoenix that his hand was a little weak. In which case, though, I mean, going for Faithless Looting seemed smart because he could have drawn into good stuff. You know, like if your hand is poor, then spells that dig you further into your deck seem good. Yes, he could have drawn that Collective Brutality that I mentioned. Potentially drained me, gaining some life, getting rid of Master of Waves, potentially pitching something good like a Flamewake Phoenix or something. Anyhow, we got there. That was game 2 pretty easily. I'm going to close this window now. Look away if you don't want to see the match result. All right, back for the third and final game. The opponent is going to be on the play. Hopefully they don't have anything too explosive. I mean, we've gotten really good hands so far in this league, so I can't complain about having to mulligan. But I don't like doing it, especially when the opponent keeps. I'm going to keep this. We're on the draw. We've got only blue mana in our hand and only colorless. But we're going to get a Scry, and we'll have an AEther Vial on the board. I haven't seen any artifact destruction from the opponent, either in round 2 or in this round. I'm going to put that Relic on top. Again, I am just super afraid of Grim Lavamancer. So what is this here? The opponent opened with Burning Inquiry, which is really funny because I was just making all of those careful decisions about my mulligan, and the opponent just kind of like it's like an earthquake in my hand, like totally different. Excuse me. I'm very, very, very happy that I got to keep the AEther Vial. I'm very, very happy, double happy that I get to keep the Relic. And we drew into, it looks like a Harbinger. It's kind of funny over here. There's only Island Walk Lords in the graveyard. I'm sorry, we had a Harbinger. I think we had like 2 Lords and a Harbinger, I think, in the opening hand. And the Harbinger was a good reason to keep the hand, I think, because it's so good against these guys. So I think the hand got slightly better. We have another land now. There's a lot of action for turn 1. Wow. Oh, I drew one of these Island Walk Lords again. So I'm going to go ahead and open with Cavern of Souls, because if I draw into another blue source, I can play a Lord next turn or Harbinger if I want. Get that AEther Vial down. We really want to start putting some counters on that thing. Another Burning Inquiry is just going to... This matchup is so funny. All right, take a good look at our hand right now. Got 3 creatures, 1 land, and a Relic. Okay, so we lost the Kira. Lowers our curve a little bit. And we lost the Relic. We're a little bit unfortunate. This guy's going to get 2 Blood Gas. He's got... well, there's a Grim Lavamancer. So showing that it was correct to bring in the Relics in the first place. And to value them very highly. So here's a hollow one. And another hollow one. So if you guys remember, I think it was game 1 of round 2 when I played against the same opponent. He had double hollow one on turn 2 also. Fortunately, we've got 1 Harbinger to deal with this garbage. Get to start taking the AEther Vial up. Man, so much happens in these turns. How is this only turn 2? The second Harbinger is like pure lifeline. Like, that's just probably our best top deck. It develops our board while crippling the opponent. So yeah, I'm just going to run out of blue source. Man, these Burning Inquiries really changed the landscape, right? I mean, I have 4 lands now instead of 1 land. So let's play a Wanderwine Hub, jam a Lord, and hope it sticks around. The opponent's only got 2 cards left in hand, so hopefully he doesn't have a Bolt. With the Lord on the table, these Harbingers are 3/3s, so they'll be pretty decent against these Bloodghasts. Okay, opponent goes to 16, gets a tapped Blood Crypt, bringing in 2 Bloodghast. So the opponent actually has 12 power on the table on turn 2. Cycling a Street Wraith. We like them to hit their life total, of course. Now, I talked in a previous game against this guy about the value of chump blocking to gain time, but this is not a situation where we want to chump block. As I mentioned, Harbingers can be great against these Bloodghasts if a Lord is on the table and they become 3/3s. Anyhow, I'm sort of priced into taking 12 here, so it hurts. I'm down to 8, and the opponent's probably feeling pretty good. This is game 3, and I did mulligan, and he did double Burning Inquiry. We do get to... Oh, man. That's another... I had just, like, the best 2 draws there. I had to think a little bit about my sequencing here. Like, what are you guys looking at? I mean, obviously, I can just play the Echoing Truth right now. Make it hard for... I mean, it's always hard for them to get these guys onto the table. They've already spent 2 of their Burning Inquiries. They probably don't have, like, another Goblin Lore or Burning Inquiry in their hand to be able to just spit these guys back out. So if I use the Echoing Truth right now, I can attack with the Lord, use AEther Vial to bounce one of the Bloodghasts, and then eat the other one. But I think the better line is to cast a Harbinger now, and then just Vial in the other Harbinger now. Make sure that the hollow ones go back to his hand. If he untaps and draws discard and makes me discard, and then discards that Harbinger before he goes to combat, then the Harbinger's not going to get the bouncing value. So I want to make sure that I get the value from these Harbingers. And another important thing about getting them onto the table now, rather than casting Echoing Truth, is that I develop my own clock and make things difficult for the opponent. So develop my board, get as many creatures out as I can. Now remember, Mutavault is out now also. And if we do the math real quick, we can see that we have 11 on the table right now. So we're getting very close. Any damage the opponent does to himself makes it lethal. Any Lord makes it lethal. So feeling decent about this. All right, so the opponent's going to cycle one of those Hollow Ones. That's a pretty cool synergistic ability that it has. It makes future Hollow Ones easier to cast. It tapped red and then untapped. Got 5 cards in hand now because I bounced those Hollow Ones. So we know one of the cards in his hand is a Hollow One, and then don't know the other 4. So he's getting in with these Bloodghasts, and I had to think for a minute because obviously I can just eat those guys. If the opponent has a land, he'll just play it and get the Bloodghast back. They can't block, which doesn't really affect us that much. But if he has a Bolt here, that is a massive blowout because he'll Bolt the Lord, and then we lose everything. If we top deck a Master of Waves, then suddenly we're sitting on 7 elementals. And again, we're 1 point away from lethal right now, so it's just too much to risk that if he has the Bolt. If we take 4 and he has a Bolt, if we take 4 and he has a Bolt, then and he shoots our face, we go down to 1. Does he have any of these flying guys in the graveyard? He does not. So I just took the damage here. We cannot risk getting a one-sided board wipe. The opponent taps out to play Flameblade Adept, and then plays a tapped Blackcleave Cliff. So at this point, we know 1 card in his hand is Hollow One, and he has 2 unknown cards. Well, Silvergill Adept is nice because it gives us a redraw. We get to just sort of jam him with AEther Vial right now. Actually, I was proud of myself because I realized the only land in my hand requires a Merfolk reveal. So I revealed Silvergill Adept to get the Wanderwine Hub on, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this guy onto the battlefield. See what he draws us. So another land does nothing for us. We could bounce the Flameblade Adept so he has no blocks, and then get in for 11, but that's super sketchy. It leaves us with just a Silvergill Adept back. And I think we pretty much just lose to that play. Well, I mean, we could block one of his Bloodghasts, but I don't like it very much. I think the better play is to sandbag the Echoing Truth, get in for some damage here, leave back some blockers, be a little bit conservative, get the opponent's life total down to where we'll have lethal next turn, make him go all in on his turn. So I'm going to activate Mutavault, and let's see. I'm going to get in with the Lord, and then maybe 2 other creatures. If he doesn't block, then he goes down to 4 also, which is going to make, since these guys can't block, 4 is super easy for us to deal with. Tapping mana, cycling a Hollow One. That's a decent start. It's going to make Flameblade get a little bit bigger. Did he just... Yeah, so he cycled 1 Hollow One. Cracked Scalding Tarn, down to 3. Alright, so he has a Flameblade Phoenix. Now, this is exactly where we wanted to go with sandbagging Echoing Truth. The opponent is painted into a corner, and we have a really powerful spell in our hand to respond to whatever they do. They know that they're dead next turn. These Bloodghasts are not going to block anybody. So at this point, we just have to not take 4. Basically, if we get hit by any 2 of these, we're going to die. So Flameblade Adept has Menace, and so that's why I left back 2 creatures here. So I'm going to throw both of those 2 guys in front of Flameblade Adept, and I can bounce the 2 Bloodghasts. So Echoing Truth doing a lot of work here, actually winning the game for us. One's going to tap all his guys. Really coming down to the wire here. If I bounce these Bloodghasts, again, I can just double block, and the opponent just scooped even before going to blocks. Alright, so we beat Black-Red Hollow One 2 times in a row in this league. Unfortunately, I dropped a game that ruined my perfect league. But I'm still 4-0. Please let me know your thoughts on this particular round. Did I make any big mistakes? Were there any plays that you guys enjoyed in particular? Please subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my Patreon page, and definitely tune in for next round, where I'll be back for the 5th and final match of this Modern Competitive League. Yeah, we have a chance to go 5-0, so don't miss it. I'll see you guys there. Thanks again. Bye.